Hello. Today I would like to talk about the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Was it justified or evil? Before I talk about it, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Thank you and God bless. In the United Nations, on Article 8, Section B1 says that there cannot be any direct attacks on civilian populations. Now, we only listen to the Bible, of course, but what does God say about this? We know that God has a single opinion of everything. He has an opinion of war, dictators, crimes, activities, and even on people. He has negative opinions and positive opinions. So, like I said on a video once, the Bible is explicit because He knows what to say through people. So there's only one passage where God says about war in Deuteronomy 20. So I'm not gonna read half of the passage, but some of it, because there's no need. So I'm going to Deuteronomy 20. So in verse 10 it says, "When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it." And then in verse 11 it says, "And it shall be, if it make the answer peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee." So as we see here, God says that if you want peace and your hostile enemy accepts the peace treaty, then you shall establish peace. But then on verse 11, he says, "Unless the enemy doesn't want to make peace, then you shall besiege it." And what I mean by besiege, he's talking about like besiege this city that you're in war against. So God allows war. So this proves also that Christianity is not pacifist, but seeks to be peaceful, although. But also allows violence in some circumstances, as many thinks that Christianity is just a religion of love and peace. It is, but it doesn't believe in pacifism. Now, when we go to verse 13 to 14, it says this: "And when the Lord thy God hath delivered it into thine hands, thou shalt smite every male thereof with the edge of the sword. But the woman and the little ones and the cattle and all that is in the city, even all the spoil thereof, shalt thou take unto thyself, and thou shalt eat the spoil of thine enemies, which the Lord thy God hath given thee." It says that the soldiers kill all men except children and women. Okay, but now, why? Is God evil, or does He have reason? The answer that I am going to tell you is in the form of a question. In war, do feelings matter? No. In war, death will occur. It's inevitable. That's the whole point of war. Death, victory, defeat, that's what war is. If you have to destroy a military of a hostile nation, of course you have to kill soldiers on their bases, even though they have families. It must happen because the soldiers, they're part of the military and they have to obey their government. So God is just. Now, why did He order to kill those men only, except for the children and women? Because back then, men were always masculine. They will always defend. Literally all of them. Now, here's the question: What was the main reason the bombings happened? I'll tell you why. But first, I must tell you the history between the conflict of Japan and the United States. It all started in Pearl Harbor at a peaceful morning in the 7th of December 1941. Japanese kamikazes attacked ships from the following states: California, Maryland, Oklahoma, Tennessee, West Virginia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Nevada. The kamikazes attacked the ships, and not only the ships, but also 2 army bases, and killed people. Later on that day, Congress declared war on Japan. At that time, Japan annexed almost all of East Asia, including Guam, Wake Island, and Hong Kong fell to the Japanese. Following in the first half of 1945, 1942 by the Philippines, the Dutch East Indies, which is Indonesia today in the modern world, Malaya, Singapore, and Burma. Japan was charged of serious war crimes, such as sexual slavery, an event most famous called the Nanjing Massacre, or aka the Rape of Nanjing, where mass murders and mass rape took place. These series of events like rape and murder took place all over the Philippines, Guam, and the Dutch East Indies, which is also known as today is Indonesia, of course, to end those terrible and satanic forms of suffering that the Japanese kamikazes, or that the Japanese army was executing. The kamikazes were just people who were going to kill themselves to defeat the enemy. Theodore Roosevelt had to bomb them. If it didn't happen, then the surrender treaty wouldn't have happened. The treaty took place at USS Missouri, which is a ship from Missouri. Even Wikipedia, the most secular website, justifies the bombings that it would make the Japanese surrender. So, was the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki justified? Sadly, yes. Because of that, Japan surrendered. But not only because Japan surrendered, but the entire region of East Asia were liberated from the Japanese by the Americans. So yes, children, men and women died on Hiroshima, whether loyalists to Hirohito, whether disobedience, but war, that's the whole point of war. If that did not happen, well, people in Korea will be in hell. Just like what Jesus said, it will be better for a camel to go through a pin of the eye than for a rich man to go to heaven. So thank you, and I hope you have a blessed day.